A Tale of a Muslim Girl and Her Infidel Lover. A novel by Dr. A. Ahmed. This is an epic story which resonates with love, resilience, courage, and sacrifice. Before we dive into the tapestry of the story, I would like to inform the reader that this novel is narrated in 3 books. Book 1. The beginning of forbidden love between a university Muslim student and her infidel professor. Copyrights. All rights are reserved. No part of this book may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means without the prior written permission of the author, except by a reviewer, who may quote brief paragraphs for a review to be printed in a public newspaper, general magazine, school journal, or university article. This novel is a work of fiction, but the entire story is based on a real life of a Muslim girl in Sudan. Therefore, all names, characters, places, and events are either the product of the author's imagination or used literary. Any resemblance to real persons, living or dead, events, or places is purely coincidental. Chapter 6. Facing an Insurmountable Problem. When Ibtihal regained consciousness, she found herself in a hospital. As soon as her mind began to function again, the memory of that first meeting assaulted her brain like a bullet that fired from a point-blank range. Like loud bells sounding inside her mind, the words of Dr. Samir kept ringing inside her head. "You are a Muslim girl, and I am a Christian man." On that fateful day, the Muslim girl had prepared herself for everything except that incredible news. As a consequence of that devastating information, the news assaulted her like a major heart attack and turned her into a lifeless body. She felt the man whom she loves with every cell of her body has deceived her. Why did he hide his religion from me? Why did he encourage my love when he knew we would not be able to marry? Her mind turned around and began to look at her lover as a victim too. Did he have a choice to love me or not? She answered no. Did he not have a heart like any human being around me? She answered yes. Did he choose when he was born which religion to follow? The Muslim daughter of Hajj Taha answered no. As a matter of fact, she understood that Dr. Samir was suffering from the beginning because he knew he had fallen in love with a girl whom he would never dream of marrying. She is an unmarriageable beloved girlfriend. Ibtihal's mind turned around again and began to put the blame on herself. Did not my father tell me not to fall in love with a man? Yes, my father told me that. Did I disobey my father and fell in love with a man? Yes, I did. But did I choose to love Dr. Samir? She answered, I neither chose nor decided to love him. Likewise, Dr. Samir did neither choose to love me nor did he decide to fall in love with a Muslim girl. It just happened. We are both have fallen unwillingly in the snare of love. If neither Dr. Samir nor I, then whom should I have to blame? Should I blame God who has created inside our bodies those hearts, and then put restrictions and conditions for our love? Ibtihal, being a devout Muslim girl, immediately dismissed such an idea, and asked God to forgive her for such a blasphemy. Then she began to think about her next step. Should I just run back to my city and forget about Dr. Samir? For some time, the daughter of Hajj Taha thought that would be the best way out. But how could I run away from my love? It is already inside me. Wherever I go, it will be with me. It is neither inside my mind that I can forget it, nor it is in my heart that I can kick it out. It is in every cell of my body. It is me. It became part of my being. How can I get rid of my being unless I kill myself? What crime have I done that I deserve death? I have neither disgraced my father nor brought shame to my family. I just fell in love with a decent man who has never thought of taking advantage of my love. He gave me the most wonderful days of my life. Ibtihal knew that she had fallen into a trap, and there was no way out. She knew quite well that her problem had no solution. At this moment, a sudden idea arose in the mind of Ibtihal, and she began to entertain it. Why should I not convince Dr. Samir to become a Muslim? This might be difficult to achieve and might take time, but I have to give it a try and face the challenge. Yes, that is the only solution to our invincible problem. When Ibtihal reached such a conclusion, a ray of hope shone in her heart. Chapter 7. The Unreachable Lover. The insurmountable problem of Samir and Ibtihal is religious as well as racial. His father is an African Sudanese from the tribe of Azanda, whereas his mother is a Coptic Christian. The Sudanese Copts were originally Egyptians who immigrated to Sudan, and that is why they look like Arabs, and not like other Sudanese, who are either pure Africans or a mixture of Arabs and Africans. While his African father was studying in Egypt, he fell in love with an Egyptian Christian student and got married to her. Since both lovers were Christians, their marriage was not a problem. Dr. Samir was the first fruit of that holy Christian matrimonial union. He does neither look like his southern Sudanese father nor like his Egyptian mother. He looks similar to the men of Ibtihal's tribe, who are having African and Arab ancestors. For that reason, from the time she saw him, she thought he was a Dongolawi like her. Moreover, the daughter of Hajj Taha has never heard before that a Dongolawi man has become a Christian. For that reason, she did not doubt the religious affiliation of Dr. Samir. She thought he is a Muslim man like all the students and doctors she met in her college and at the hospital. Even if she can convince him to become a Muslim, she will not be able to change him into an Arab Sudanese that her Muslim family may accept. At any rate, since Ibtihal is still under the illusion that Dr. Samir is an Arab like her, let us ignore the second insurmountable problem and move on with the story. Now let us see what the two lovers who are unmarriageable did after that fateful first meeting. I know the phrase unmarriageable lovers is not an English sentence, but I have not an equivalent to the Arabic phrase la islaha lil al-zawaj. All the narrators of the story used that phrase to describe the situation in which Ibtihal and Dr. Samir found themselves. Being a clever girl, Ibtihal wants her lover to convert to Islam for him to be eligible to marry a Muslim girl. The law of Sudan does not prescribe any punishment for a Christian if he forsakes his religion and embraces Islam. The Quran commands that such a person must be rewarded financially for taking such a step. For a Muslim man or woman, the punishment is death if he converts to any other religion. This is the only crime that the law of Sudan will never pardon or replace with imprisonment. This capital punishment came directly from the mouth of the Prophet Muhammad, who said, "Whoever changes his religion, kill him." On that evening, Ibtihal could not stand the horror of the shocking news and collapsed before her lover. Dr. Samir rushed her to the hospital and did not leave her until she regained consciousness. As soon as she opened her eyes, he had left her. That evening he felt terribly miserable and sad. He also blamed himself for not revealing his religion to Ibtihal as soon as he felt she fell in love with him. He knew that she is under the impression that he is Muslim like her. But his strong love for her prevented him from exposing himself. Besides that, her brilliance, beauty, and personality are hard for him to resist. As if she forced herself inside his being from the time he saw her. Day by day his love for her began to grow inside his heart, until it became a gigantic mountain that no power in the universe could remove. Her big and beautiful eyes hunted him wherever he went. Her sweet and feminine voice became like divine music that came from beyond the unseen world and played an irresistible charm in his ears. Although he could not see more than her face and hear her voice, Dr. Samir's eyes could penetrate beyond those Islamic clothes and see a feminine body that surpassed in its sexual attraction the figure of Aphrodite, the goddess of love. In addition to all these, Ibtihal's intelligence and genius mentality captivated him. He is always amazed by her strong memory, shrewd mind, and quickness of learning. Those unmatchable qualities of Ibtihal forced themselves in his heart, and he couldn't resist falling in love with her. Despite his strong and genuine love for her, but he knew from the beginning that he had fallen in love with a girl that is unmarriageable and unattainable. He is like the Greek sculptor, Phidias, who carved with his own hands the beautiful statue of Aphrodite, the goddess of beauty, but could not give life to her. Or like Leonardo da Vinci, who sat day after day before the beautiful woman, Mona Lisa, and painted her. Dr. Samir's problem is even more difficult than the problems of the genius sculptor Phidias and the painter Leonardo da Vinci. His girlfriend is neither a statue that he needs a miracle to bring her to life nor someone's wife that he cannot marry her. His girlfriend is within his reach but unreachable. A huge gulf separated her from him by a human as well as divine order. As if God and men joined hands together to create the walls of religion and race. God created man and woman in his own image, but religion and race separate them forever. Chapter 8. Accepting the job offer. Before proceeding further with the events of the love tale, I would like to warn the reader who may try to consult different narrations of the story. At this stage, the narrators differed strongly about what happened next. And here religious bias and gender preference stepped in. At this junction, the story suddenly turned into a competition between Christianity and Islam, and the male and female gender prejudice took over. Those who believed that the Christian man was the one to be blamed had dumped all the garbage on him and justified ibtihal. While those who looked at Dr. Samir as the innocent Joseph of the Bible turned the Muslim girl into the wicked wife of Potiphar. It is naturally the advocates of the first account are Muslim narrators, whereas the supporters of the second account are Christian writers. The modern Sudanese feminists saw ibtihal as a victim even before she met her lover, Dr. Samir. Those modern writers narrate the story in a way to show that ibtihal was abused from the beginning by all the males with whom she came in contact. In that, even her father Haj Taha was not spared. Their convincing argument against Haj Taha was that how could a man who married a 9-year-old girl be a good father? In my account, I tried to avoid religious as well as gender preferences, and be a disinterested judge and present the story as it is. Having spent half of my life as a Muslim, and the other half as a Christian helped me to see both sides of the story. With this warning in mind, let us go back to the story, and see what happened next. As we know, ibtihal is determined not to give up and strives hard to convince her lover to accept her religion. As we also know, Dr. Samir neither thought of winning his girlfriend to his religion nor dreamt of marrying her. From the beginning, he understood that he fell in love with a girl that is unmarriageable. At this stage, some narrators described Dr. Samir as a passive lover and ibtihal as an active lover. Well, it is hard to resist such a description at this point. As a matter of fact, ibtihal's behaviors towards the end of her training showed that she is an extraordinarily brave and bold girl. She took the unusual step of revealing her love and demanding that her lover should do the same. As we know, things turned in a totally different direction. Despite of this big blocking rock that is standing between her and her lover, ibtihal decided to try to roll it away. A week later from the day the Muslim girl found out that she fell in love with a Christian man, she returned to the hospital and resumed her training. During the training hours, she avoided having eye contact with her lover. However, at the end of the day, ibtihal surprised Dr. Samir when she stepped inside his office without being invited. Dr. Samir has become astonished to see her standing in front of him and looking like a girl who has come to challenge him into a serious matter. I have accepted your offer, said the girl ibtihal boldly. Which offer? Responded Dr. Samir. The offer to work with you. Dr. Samir hesitated for a few seconds before he said, You mean the offer to work for the hospital? Whatever you call it. I have something important to do here, and I am not leaving before I succeed in achieving it. What is that you intend to achieve? Asked Dr. Samir after he is disturbed by the words of ibtihal. I cannot tell you everything now. Can we meet again outside of this hospital? Yes, we can, but I prefer we should not push this matter further. Where and when can we meet? If you insist, then let us meet at the same time and the same place on Thursday. I want to meet you in a place where we can talk. The restaurant is not a suitable place. Do you mind meeting me in the Hamad floating restaurant? I don't mind, but what is that? It is a small ship that converted into a tourist place. Usually, married couples and lovers meet there to have an enjoyable time and have their dinners. The word lovers resurrected the pain in Ibtihal's heart and made her feel like crying again. A few drops of tears issued out of her eyes and rolled down her cheeks. She stretched her hand and wiped her tears. I don't know how to get to that place, said the daughter of the Hajj with a weeping voice. It is in front of the Chinese Friendship Hall. It is located on the River Nile bank. Once again, I would like to thank you for the offer, and shall see you on Thursday evening, said the sad girl Ibtihal, and then she turned her body around and marched out of the office of her unmarriageable lover, the handsome Dr. Samir. Chapter 9. The Muslim girl meets her Christian lover again. The strong love of Ibtihal for Samir so far has led her to do many things that are counted as inappropriate behaviors of a girl in Sudan. After accepting the offer to work for the hospital, she is confronted with serious problems. First of all, how could she convince her father to allow her to stay for another 2 years in the capital city? Secondly, even if she succeeds in convincing her father, she won't find a place to stay in Khartoum. It has never happened in Sudan, and will never ever happen, that a Muslim girl rented a place and lived by herself without a husband or parents. No property owner is allowed to rent his place to a single woman who has no husband or other family member. Leaving this grave issue aside for the time being, let us move on and see what happened at the second day meeting. Since the day she arrived in the capital city, Ibtihal had not visited any place of entertainment. The only place she went to be the Grand Hotel restaurant. All those years she confined herself inside the university. She always buried herself inside her books. During those long 4 years, she never felt that she is a girl, and hence she needed to dress up in fancy clothes and behave like a young woman. She hardly looked at her face in the mirror. Every morning, she wrapped her body with those Islamic clothes and rushed to the lecture hall. She did not pay much attention to the people around her, as if she lived in a place inhabited by ghosts. Her life experienced tremendous changes after she met and fell in love with Dr. Samir. People around her noticed the change in her attitude towards life. Before that she was serious, and most of the time, she kept to herself. But then after she fell in love, she began to open herself and talk with the people close to her. Despite this noticeable change, Ibtihal did not change the way she dresses up. On that Thursday evening, when she began to prepare herself to meet her lover for the second time, something strange came to her mind. For the first time, she realized that she has beautiful long hair. She stood in front of the mirror and continued to admire her hair for some time. She has lovely curly hair. She thought about what Dr. Samir would feel if he saw her long hair. She understood that by hiding her hair she hides half of her beauty. A strong temptation arose in her heart. Why should I not let the person whom I love with all my being see my hair? What a crime will I be doing if I allow my boyfriend to see me without a head cover? After so much thinking and hesitation, Ibtihal succumbed to the temptation and decided to meet her lover without hiding half of her beauty. A great feeling of joy filled her heart when she made that decision. She felt for the first time she was a girl, and that her hair contributes to her feminine attraction. After that decision, the daughter of Hajj Taha spent some time in front of the mirror. She did her hair and applied makeup to her face, eyes, and lips. She discovered she had a mole on her left cheek which contributed to her beauty. Then she put on one of her lovely dresses. If any one of those close to her happens to see her, he may not recognize her. She has been totally changed from a normal girl into a beautiful princess. Hamad Floating Restaurant is the most attractive tourist place for lovers in the capital city. It is a big floating ship harbored on the River Nile bank. It is decorated marvelously. It is the most beautiful place in the city. Families, friends, lovers, and newly wedded couples gathered after the sunset in that paradise-like place to spend a wonderful time. The chairs are arranged in 2s or 4s. Various kinds of delicious food are served there. In those days, drinking alcoholic beverages were allowed in the floating restaurant. The place is meant to be quiet so that visitors talk to each other in whispers. It is said that if you visit the capital city, and you do not see the Hamad Floating Restaurant, you have not seen half of the city. Foreigners and visitors love that romantic place more than anything else. It is sad that Ibtihal spent almost 5 years in the city, and she did neither see nor hear of the Hamad restaurant. On that Thursday evening, Dr. Samir arrived a little earlier to book 2 chairs. He knew that on Thursday the restaurant would be full most of the time. Knowing that his beloved had never seen that place before, the lover stood outside and waited for her arrival. And when Princess Ibtihal arrived, he couldn't recognize her. It was only when she stood in front of him and greeted him by name could he know she is the beloved one. "Hi, Dr. Samir. I am sorry to come late." The lover stood like a statue looking at his beloved. He could not believe either his ears or his eyes that the girl who was standing before him was Ibtihal. "Are you okay?" she said laughingly. "Is there something bothering you?" Those musical words brought Dr. Samir out of his shock. "You look totally different today. I would not have recognized you if you have not spoken to me. Do I look ugly in this dress? You look so beautiful. You look like the Queen of Beauty. Really? You are gorgeous, my sweetie. I cannot describe in words how beautiful you are." Although Ibtihal enjoyed hearing her boyfriend speak those words to her, she felt a bit shy and changed the topic. "Okay, this is the first and last time for me to dress up like this. I am not that beautiful. Just a normal Arab girl. Now where we are going to sit and talk. I have booked a place for us. Let us go inside the floating restaurant." Then the lovely Princess Ibtihal walked with her lover inside the paradise of lovers, and felt indeed she was a queen walking beside her king. When they sat in a far corner of the spacious place, she felt she was in paradise indeed. The cool breeze of the river, the reflection of the thousands of lights of Nile Street on the water, and the presence of her lover in front of her have made her feel she suddenly stepped out of the earth and entered into another planet. "What do you like to drink?" asked Dr. Samir after he saw the waiter approaching their table. "I don't want to drink anything." "Well, in this place we are supposed to drink and eat something. It is a kind of restaurant. Whatever they offer I will drink and eat." Dr. Samir smiled when he understood that his girlfriend had not any experience of this kind of place. When the waiter came to them, he placed orders for Fanta soft drinks and Chinese food. "It is a wonderful place," said the beautiful girl Ibtihal after the waiter had gone. "Although I come here very rare, I love this place. How long are we allowed to sit here?" "As long as we want to sit. This restaurant opens every day at 6 o'clock in the evening and closes at midnight." On hearing that, his girlfriend looked at her watch, and it was 7 o'clock p.m. Then Ibtihal became a bit serious and looked at Dr. Samir for a few seconds, and then she said, "That day you told me because of religion we cannot get married." "Yes, Ibtihal, but before that, I want to apologize to you for not revealing my religious affiliation from the time I realized that you began to admire me. You don't need to feel sorry about that. Even if I came to know you from the beginning that you are a Christian man, still, I would not be able to stop myself from falling in love with you. None of us had a choice at that time. It just happened. I do agree with you, sweetie. Now we are in love, and we cannot run away from it. We have to face it and find a solution. Dr. Samir, I cannot live without you. When Ibtihal spoke those last words, she burst into weeping. Yes, I cannot live without you, repeated Ibtihal in her last sentence while she was crying. Me too, I cannot live without you, but how can we get married in this Muslim country, said Dr. Samir in a sad voice. If you really love me, then forsake your religion for our love. I will do the same if I happen to be a Christian girl and fall in love with a Muslim man. Oh no, that is the last thing I would think to do. You know how much I love you. No girl would do what I have done. I know, Ibtihal, you love me so much and I love you too, but no one can easily forsake his religion and embrace another religion. Religion is a conviction. If I convince you, my dear, that Islam is a true religion, will you accept it? Dr. Samir smiled and then laughed before he said, everybody believes his religion is the only true religion in the world. I believe we should not even talk about which religion is right and which one is wrong. This will lead us into an endless debate. And the more we debate this issue, the more we become convinced our religions are right. I don't agree with you. Either your religion is true or mine is right. It is the law of contradiction that we studied at the university. Two contradictory things will be either one is true, or the other is false, or both untrue. Both cannot be right. Do you want to apply this law to deciding between Christianity and Islam? Why not? How are you going to convince me which religion is right and which is wrong? That is why I have decided to stay in this city and learn your religion and compare it with mine. I know you are a smart girl, and for sure you will be able to figure out which religion is right and which one is wrong. But you have to approach this study with so much care. How can I get a copy of the Bible? I will get you one tomorrow. I will be glad to read your holy book. And get me a copy of your Quran too. I will for sure. I will bring a copy of my holy book to you. Chapter 10. Marriage is the only way out. Having made up her mind to stay a couple of years more in the capital city, Ibtihal made some correspondence with her father and tried to convince him, by all means, to allow her to stay for a couple of years. No matter how she tried, the father was not willing to allow her. Finally, when nothing worked out, the father agreed to allow her with one condition, that she should marry one of her cousins. It is important to remind the reader that the royal family will never allow one of their daughters to get married to an outsider. A boy can do so, and that with much difficulty and opposition. The girl under no circumstances will never be permitted to marry a man who is out of the royal family. In the beginning, Ibtihal refused the proposal of her father. But when she is left with no choice either to marry one of her cousins or come back to her city, she succumbed to her situation and agreed to marry her cousin. Well, as the story unfolds, soon it will appear that the daughter of Hajj Taha has decided to marry one of her cousins in a cunning way. Her strong love for Dr. Samir made her do everything to achieve her goal. She wants to stay for 2 years in the capital city, with the strong conviction that within those years, she would convince her lover to forsake his religion and embrace her religion. Her father is not willing to allow her to stay alone for 2 years. Ibtihal herself understood that practically, she could not be able to do that due to the social situation of a conservative Muslim society. There is no property owner who is allowed to rent a place to an unmarried girl who has no family member with her. Ibtihal will prefer to die than sacrifice her love for Dr. Samir and return to her city. The daughter of Hajj Taha is in a dilemma. She found the only way out of it was she must marry someone from her cousins and continue staying in the capital city. Here the case of Ibtihal seems to be a bit complicated and confused. How could she agree to marry someone while she is in love with someone else? Doesn't that sound like she is either a cheater or a playful girl? Nay, no, that is not the intention of Ibtihal. As we mentioned already, the daughter of Haj Taha wants to do that cleverly and cunningly. Being the only child, her father always treats her as a boy. Many times, in front of her uncles and cousins, her father proudly said, "Ibtihal is my son, and no one should look at her as a girl." During his correspondence with her, in those 5 years of her study, her father always opened his letter by writing, "To my beloved son, Ibtihal Taha." Accordingly, Ibtihal wants to marry her cousin theoretically, and practically she decided to deny his rights as a husband. He will be her husband only on paper. If her cousin questions her for her bizarre behavior, she would argue that her father had made her psychologically believe that she is not a girl but a boy. It is obvious that Ibtihal's mad love for Dr. Samir sometimes blinded her eyes and made her do things and make decisions without thinking of the consequences. The above decision is a good example of her madness. By taking such a dangerous step, Ibtihal thought her cousin would easily believe her and treat her as a boy and hence live with her as one of his male cousins. Finally, he may feel fed up and divorce her and marry another girl. By that time, her beloved lover Samir will become a Muslim, and hence he can become a marriageable man. With those great and wonderful expectations, Ibtihal consented to the marriage of her cousin.